Okay. Um, so today is September 28th, and this is the fourth quarter meeting for the Thicket of Diversity. And I know that we don't have Kate Hambright. She is the new executive director for BTA, and she has a meeting at 5 for the BTA day. And
Kate is the new treasurer.
She's the new, that's right. She has taken over as treasurer, which is wonderful. And so she's just really jumped in with both feet. She's also, I believe, chair for BTA Day. And so that affects Katie and the new executive director, Diane Thompson. They're both at that meeting. And so I knew about that. And then Randy Yoder has a lab, so he won't be here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go on. But I welcome you all. I'm so glad you're here. And Diane is on for a little bit. Good for her. Good, Diane. So I'm glad that you're here with us. And we're just starting our meeting. And I am recording it for the folks that aren't here. So hopefully you'll be able to hear us soon. And we're sure glad you're with us. So I shared the minutes by email, and I hope y'all had, there she is. I hope y'all had an opportunity to look over them and let me know if you have any corrections or comments on the minutes.
I did not get a chance to look at them, but I'm sure they're fine.
Okay. Okay. Well, we will just accept them as submitted. With no corrections, just to keep things moving. And so for the funding, I put some figures on the agenda. And since I looked over it, I have the August bank statement. So the final total that we have right now, as of August, the end of August, is $44,441.95. So that's how much we have in the TCQ account. We have, since Muscles is finished, we have another $1,300 that can go to data management. So that means we have $4,907 available for that, which still we haven't been able to take care of. We have 10,418 that's committed to researchers. And there is a line item on each of the proposals that we really haven't taken advantage of, but I want to share it there. Each proposal has 3 ads at $200 a piece. So it's $600. That is for promotion of volunteer projects with inventory work. Do you remember that one, Matt?
Yeah, I never used it.
Yeah, maybe we've used it once at the very beginning. I do. So that is something, Diane, that you might want to think about. We do have, it's supposed to be related to recruiting volunteers, which we haven't really, you know, the researchers kind of come with their own volunteers, so we really haven't had that need. But I'm bringing it up because the most recent research that is funded is on leeches. And if you recall, the leeches, they with COVID, they had to apply for an extension, and I ended up communicating with her. The extension was approved, and they are coming in October to start their project. But she put in $600 on that line item, and it's supposed to go towards an ad, and she put it for scientific posters. And the only problem is, back when this grant was written, like 2012, we negotiated to try and get posters, and TCQ told us they would not fund that. So I have been paying myself mostly. BTA has sometimes paid, but most of the time I've been buying the posters to hang in the FRS. But we will have $600 that was approved. Here comes Kathy. We will have $600 that was approved when she amended her budget. She had her original budget was all messed up because she wasn't following the TCEQ guidelines. And so then she corrected it, and the big things got corrected, the transportation and the researcher and student salary. But that $600 was added on. So I don't really want that $600 to come out of TCEQ money because I've already done that battle, although, you know, it was 2012 and it might slide, but she will be eligible for it. So I just kind of want to bring that up. And most of that.
So that money can be used for ads, but it cannot be used for posters.
Correct.
That's the point. Okay.
That was when we were negotiating, we wrote the proposal, and then Mona and I had to negotiate to try and get money for the administration. And we did get $1,300 per project, and they would not take the posters. And these posters are so valuable. I mean, it's, you know, it's really important. And I love how we've got them hanging at the FRS. It's really exciting. So, you know, that's just something we need to take care of. Hello, Kathy. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Okay, we're happy you're here. So anyway, I'm just bringing that up, but we do have $44,441 in the account. And so we have for sure $23,111 in the account for new projects. And we could probably tap some of the money on the ads for that as well, probably. So that's where we are with the funds. And the quarterly report, I submitted that, and I'll do it again. And then Diane, before I submit the report, I'll come down there and I'll walk through the process with you. But I'll go ahead and do this right now because you have your hands full with everything that you're trying to do. But I want you to see what's done so that you can kind of learn how to do it. And at some point, you know, but right now I'll do it. So I'll do the next one. And generally it's always due after the BTA meeting. That's kind of what I tell myself. So, and Diane and I have talked, I did this, I can't believe it's been so many years, but we haven't done a letter to promote new money coming in. We've just kind of, you know, and we don't get a whole lot as a result. I mean, there's no promotion, but every once in a while we'll get a check out of the blue. But if we promoted it a little bit, we might get a whole lot more. So I just sent you a draft letter, Diane, and it was to the county judges, but we can also adapt it to companies. So it's a pretty good start to go. So we'll get to that soon. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Is this what you were saying before, that you were going to send to me so I could talk to other companies about adding us to their list for the TCEQ?
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I got it. Thank you.
Right. And we'll attach the 2021 accomplishments with that. So
Okay.
that one-page letter and those accomplishments.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll try and do a little promotion and see if that helps.
Okay.
So with the science committee, Brown and Williams is the new contact. I think Weaver retired. Their grant person, the grant coordinator where they're at, left, and it's somebody else. So they've had a big turnover of people. But Brown and Williams, I did a Zoom with her and walked through the process of what she needs to do. And she's really excited about coming. And she knows our crawfish researcher that we worked with, Dr. Zachary Loftman. And she would like to, at some point, maybe incorporate some of her research with what he does and she was telling me all about it, but evidently the some of the leeches are parasites on crawfish. So she can she can look for leeches on samples he's already collected. So, and maybe DNA or whatever, I don't know, but anyway, so there's a little networking going on between the two of them. And so I'm real excited because I didn't know how much luck she'd have trying to just go out in the big thicket and find leeches. So, it seems like probably about as difficult as going and finding tiger beetles, who is LaRoche at Rice University is working on that. And bless his heart, he was all gung-ho about coming, and he was scheduled to come. And then we had a group that was staying at the FRS, and they caught COVID, and they were here for a month. And so they had to take the Brammer house where LaRoche was going to stay and turn it into a quarantine area. So his date that he had all scheduled, and it just went out the window. But it was just a bad situation that happened. But they were a tremendous group, and I'll talk about them in a little bit. Andrew Bennett, we approved the addendum for the bycatch that from his bees, the extra stuff, and he's really great and thorough, and he'll take care of that. So, but anyway, those are the 3 projects that are open. And then Allison Tarter turned in her final report. Her data was approved by the preserve. Everything was done. She received her last check. So that project is completely finished. So that's good. And I'll talk a little bit more about her data in the data management. Do we have anything else on science committee or science that you guys have to add, or not yet? Okay. All right. So education. So Kathy, I don't know if you have anything. I know last time you were talking about the longleaf pine area that you had. Did you have any other things you wanted to report on that?
Well, the longleaf pine area is going real well. This Thursday, tomorrow morning, we have a grass planting in another longleaf pine restoration area. I've got volunteers coming to plant grass plugs. That's about it on the longleaf pine restoration area. We have several in this park, but there's that one that's within the public open area of the park. That's the 37-acre one I spoke about earlier. We are having something new happen this year. For the first time, they're going to open up this park for deer hunting. So the first couple weeks in December, it's going to, or the first couple days in December, it's going to be closed. The reason we have to do that is all this construction in this area. The deer have moved into the park in such numbers that it's just not sustainable. So they're going to have to call the deer numbers a little bit. We hate that, but what's the alternative? For the first time, this park is going to be closed December 2nd and through the 7th for deer hunting.
That's kind of sad.
It's sad because some of these deer you get to know personally, you know what I mean? But
oh my.
Oh
my.
When you think about all the construction in this area of housing additions and stuff, they're all moving into the park, and it's not sustainable anymore.
Wow. Let me ask you on this longleaf pine restoration. What time does that begin tomorrow?
That's going to start at 9 o'clock.
Okay. I may invite, I don't know if I'll have any luck, but the editor for the Silsbee Bee, would that be okay for me to tell him about it?
9 o'clock till about noon.
About noon, okay. And I'll tell them about it, but if you get me some information, I'll write something up.
All right.
Okay.
You know, we got other events planned at the park. You know, we've got Christmas events and things like that planned at the park. And
Okay.
so on December 10th, we have a big Christmas thing going on at the park. So right after we close the park for hunting, or right after we open it back up, we'll have that Christmas on the creek. At the
Okay.
park.
Okay, that's cool. So some other things I shared, we've had some good newspaper articles. This one came out in the summer, but it was after our meeting. I think I shared that. And then we had the group that got COVID, it was a deaf, it's called Corpse That, and they're a deaf crew. And it was super, super cool. I heard about them. They were staying at the FRS for a month. And so I thought, well, gee, this is something, you know, I'd like to help these folks. So I got the Sour Lake Lions Club to, we did a historical walking tour in Sour Lake and then had a picnic at the Lions Park. And they came, and I mean, it was just fabulous. And I sent in the committee report, there's a link to a YouTube link that shows the work that they did, and that it's really good. And they also did, and I'm not really sure where it's going, but they were coordinated by the Park Service. They received a grant from the Park Service, and that's how come they were here. And they're basically wanting to build their resumes and show folks that even with disabilities that they can be of service and do things. And but they did some inventory work on odonates. They did some collection there. So I don't know, you know, what happened to that information, but that came through the Park Service. So anyway, they were a very impressive group to work with. It was really, really neat. We had a showing of Deep in the Heart, which was at the Jefferson Theater. It was sponsored by the Park Conservation Association, and BTA had an exhibit, and Big Thicket Natural Heritage Trust had an exhibit. About 150 people came, so it was really cool. And on last Saturday, the Park Service, it was a Big Thicket, National Public Lands Day, and they planted butterfly plants at the FRS. And they put the Park Service, this was generated by the Park Service. They grew the plants in a big greenhouse that they have now behind the visitor center. So it's milkweed and grasses and other butterfly plants. And they had watered it before, and I think they have an automatic watering system with a timer, hopefully. And so that was kind of cool that they're going to have a butterfly garden. Hopefully it takes there at the FRS. So they didn't really ask for volunteers, but I went because I wanted to see what was going on. And I'm really proud that October 8th, we have Andrew Bennett, who we work, that's our contact. You guys have probably worked with him. He's the one that collects the data, and he's going to be recognized. He'll receive an award at the BTA Day, and he will get, he's supposed to get the $200 check too. And then I'm real excited to thank Dr. Scott Solomon for being our keynote speaker. So we're thrilled that that was a big surprise when I heard that, and I thought that's just fantastic. So
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And I'm going to have an exhibit, a TOD exhibit. Thank you, Diane, for printing the color sheet. And I have three boxes all ready to go. And that was a job. Once upon a time, I used to get my students to do that, all that busy work. So anyway, that's done and ready to go. And Randy said that he would provide the canopy again this year, which is really helpful. So I'll shoot him an email to remind him about that. So that's what's going on with the education. And then with data management, I sent that report at the just right now. Okay, so on the thicketofdiversity.org, we have a section for researchers. And Scott, do you want us to post anything on your video course? We could look at that and see if you want us to post anything on that. Because it's things, publications that you guys do.
Yeah, you're talking about the insects course.
Uh-huh.
If you think it would be useful, you could. Yeah.
Okay, I'll think about maybe how to word something and what to put on there, but that I think it'd be a good thing. But y'all might want to look and see what can be added. That's always a work in progress. And then Dale, we need to get Diane set up so she can get on the G drive, and I can go in and help her with SharePoint too. So that's what's going on with that. On the Dr. Jeff Pittman, who does the website work for us, would be interested in helping, and we could use him for the data management. But the only problem is he has a Mac and the access doesn't work with the Mac. So I'm about at the point where I don't mind getting the access and trying to take a course myself to learn how to do it. So there's some files I really want to get into, and I think because I can't get into the access files, I'm just having to do it the hard way instead of going into the final files that have all these species lists. I've been trying to, but anyway, so I'm going to talk to you more, Dale, about that.
Yeah, I'll need to get with Diane and we'll see if we can get back into the Microsoft volume license server and get you
Well,
an access.
what about, what if I got it through TechSoup from a Big Thicket Natural Heritage Trust?
We've
'Cause
already purchased a license for you through TechSoup.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll get with you and hopefully we'll be able to get to that by the next meeting. I'll have my fingers in it. Because it's just been a struggle trying to verify the taxa tally. Okay, on new grant funding, you'll notice Allison may be asking for a third proposal, and she did present at the Fresh Mollusks Conservation Society, and they want her input on the creation and adoption of a set of North American protocols for bivalve sampling. So that sounds pretty good. And so just letting you know that another proposal may be in the works. And so the bees, Dr. Bennett's proposal, it was so easy to see. It's just such a clean proposal. So the taxa tally can be updated with what he has. But mussels has been, oh my goodness, it has been really challenging. And if you go to the G drive, you can see what I'm talking about, because I had to go through all the different researchers and their research. It was Bench, and then Bench in May, and then it was a Burgess National Park Service, and then it was Ford, and then Ford again, and then Allison again. And I had to make a species list for each of them. And then I went across and I deleted the duplicate, alphabetized and deleted the duplicates, came up with my final list. And then I shared it with Allison. And if you look on the next page of the report I just said, mollusks has been a nightmare because they are reassigning scientific names and removing and just changing. So anyway, so I feel pretty good that this is the final list. And Allison says, I'd like you guys to look at it, but she comes up with 31. We had 32, but there's one that she's not counting, and it's called, and I may not pronounce it right, Strophitis undulatus. And she says she thinks we should delete it because it's not yet documented or verified in the thicket. But we did have it verified in 2012 by Bench. So I don't know if we should include it because it was in his research, but Bench was one of our early researchers, and the quality of his work wasn't as good as what you guys are doing because we didn't have the criteria. We kind of learned and like that spreadsheet at the beginning, we didn't have that spreadsheet. So basically all he would do is shoot an email and give a list of what he found, and he would do longitude and latitude, and there just wasn't so I don't know if we should count it and just, or the situation could be that it was something that was here that is not here anymore because of the flooding. So I don't know. I don't know what to do on that, but it would add one more to the tally. Actually, we'd go backwards on the tally because the tally had 32 and Allison says it'd be 31 now.
So did Bench record their methodology on how they identified them?
It would be basically, he worked with the Nature Conservancy, and it was Kathy, you know, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Mussel Watch project. That was what he did. He submitted it under the Mussel Watch project.
What about leaving it in there and then just putting a notation saying that it's been unverified?
Okay, that it was found but unverified?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay, what do you think, guys? Is that okay?
Yeah, just we need something in there that you know, this shouldn't be, because we don't want this to end up somewhere where it ends up as an official record as something.
Okay,
Because there was no methodology associated with its identification.
right.
Where with Allison's work, there was a official methodology, some expert identification done. And with this, we just have a list. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so
And
if we're gonna,
Allison's work is going, I mean, she's doing DNA and
yeah,
she's networking.
exactly.
She's networking with other experts, and
Yeah.
so the
Yeah,
quality is,
so, yeah, exactly. So we don't want this intermingled with that. So if we want to keep it, we just need to make sure we got some note put with it.
okay, so
that
I will
it's
add that on the G.
unverified. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add that note on the G drive on that species. And
Yeah.
because, you know, something that is happening, some species are gone from the flooding, you know,
Mhm.
they're not there. So, you know, we'd like to see that. So anyway, so yeah, that was my big dilemma there. And so ants, I did find in Hill's final report, he said there were 3 species new to the state, but we only have 2 on the tally. But I don't know if that should be, if I should just leave it like that. That's where I need to go to the access and see what they have on that. Because I
We're
just
working
saw,
on getting our manuscript on ants ready for publication, hopefully end of the year, maybe. Fingers
okay,
crossed.
cool. Cool. Well, we will anxiously be waiting on that. Okay, so that's what's going on with the taxa tally and data. And okay, so the field research station, there wasn't much going on. We did have 2 groups stay about a month, so they were working with the Park Service. And so that's gone well. And then we're going to be super busy in October. I know Scott, is it a class that you're coming to do? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're doing
Regular-
our kind of regular visit that we do each fall with Rice students. We just have a small group this year, but
Okay.
good.
So yeah, it's going to be super busy in October, but that's a good thing. And so Diane and I are working on monitoring the FRS and the supplies. And we have an inventory checklist now, and the administrative assistant is going to kind of check off. So we kind of make sure that supplies are realistic. And I thought we were out of laundry detergent, and Diane found it in the cabinet, so we weren't. But so that's working. And then the cleaning, same thing, we've got to get it cleaned after each stay, and that's kind of challenging when we're so busy in October. I did share a name, Diane, of someone that lives right next door that might be a future person to tap, but I'm not into hiring or any of that, so I'll just pass that on to you. And John, you're muted again. You're muted.
Thanks. I do have somebody that I'm going out there with since we don't have background check and drug testing for. I'll be there the whole time they're cleaning on the 23rd, I think it is. And Terry is doing it on the 20th. But when I was out there this past Sunday, and I went to check supplies in both places, FRS and Bramer House, the people, we were out there for that hike in the big thicket at the Lance Rozier unit. And so we were already right there. So I said, let me go check the supplies since we didn't know for sure what all was there. And there was a lot of yelling and screaming going on in that house next door. And everybody was like, "Ooh, there's a fight going on."
Oh,
So
no.
I don't know about who was in there, what was going on, but I know you had mentioned that lady to clean, but I didn't know. Sounded
I know
like
nothing
drama.
about her, and I don't have,
I'm just saying it sounded like a lot of drama.
yeah,
So
I don't
know.
have time to get into all that interview and all those. I don't want to be a part of that. That's not my thing.
Well,
So
I just don't even mention it again to the lady when you see her, because
Okay.
I didn't have a good vibe.
Okay, cool. All right. No problem. So then the butterfly garden, I already told you about that. And I already told you about the October meeting. And if you can make it, it'll be great. I'm kind of rushing because I know Diane has a meeting at 5. Is there anything else you guys have to add? Dale, we're so glad you're with us. Thank you so much. It's just good to see you jumping back in.
I'm trying.
I know. Well, we are just really happy that you're here with us. So, anybody have any other things to add? Well, we're just crawling forward. We're not going in big steps, but we are moving forward. So, Kathy, you have anything else to add?
Not really. I'll see y'all at that big ticket day. We're gonna have a big ticket. So.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, folks, thank you for joining us. And
Thank you, Mary Catherine.
yeah, we'll make this short and sweet and let y'all go. Sounds good. All
See
right.
you all on the 8th.
Bye.
Okay. We're looking forward to it. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.